Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about a law in Tennessee that has been halted. We're going to talk about some information that I think voters should have better access to. And we're going to talk about a law I think should exist. So, about a month ago, I did a video about a new law in Tennessee that required signage related to bathrooms. Basically, the state government there decided to require businesses to post up signs saying, in essence, we allow people to use the bathroom that corresponds to their identity. Okay? Different phrasing on the sign, obviously. I decided to forego talking about the moral arguments there, because generally speaking, moral arguments do not work on bigots. I decided to talk about the economic issues and how it would impact areas surrounding military installations. The ACLU decided to talk about the constitutional issues, and they took it to court. And rightfully so, a federal judge issued an injunction because they found it to be likely unconstitutional. It is. It's plainly unconstitutional. It's the government forcing speech onto private entities. So it's the right move by the judge. But it got me thinking. Why is it that a group of people who often use the Constitution as their backdrop or in their marketing, why do they keep writing legislation that is unconstitutional? That seems odd to me. It also seems like it's information that maybe the public should have access to. I think records should be kept. If you write a law or vote in favor of a law that is found to be unconstitutional, I think that's information that voters should have. I think people should know that because there's absolutely no way you're upholding your oath. You can't support and defend the Constitution if you are writing laws to undermine it. If you are supporting legislation that undermines it. The Constitution is a pretty simple document. The Bill of Rights could be summed up with, it's your right to be left alone. And yet, constantly, there's legislation introduced that attempts to undermine it, undercut these rights, your inalienable rights. Seems like something that voters should know about. The Bill of Rights, these were hard limits. This was, the government shall not do this. And yet, there's constant introduction of legislation that is unconstitutional. You can't pretend to be a patriot and uphold the basic principles of this country if you are actively trying to undermine them. So I think this information should be out there. Further, I think there should be a law that if you write a bill that is found to be unconstitutional, you're barred from public office because you obviously don't take your job seriously. You obviously don't take your oath seriously. So maybe that should happen. I would imagine that a lot of these bills that are being introduced at various levels that are really just designed to create headlines and feed into the culture war, I imagine they'd stop real quick because they're pretty much all unconstitutional. So the politician can't say, oh, well, we tried to do that thing that's blatantly unconstitutional because we love the Constitution. They can't sell that anymore because if they do it, well, they can't run for office again. I think that we would suddenly find people brushing up on the Constitution and changing their rhetoric really quickly. At the end of the day, the Constitution isn't complicated. And the fact that we have so much legislation headed to the Supreme Court with the express purpose of testing the limits of those hard limits, trying to push them as far as they can go, that should be a warning sign. realistically, if you write legislation and it makes it to the Supreme Court, that should be embarrassing. Even if it's found to be constitutional, it should be embarrassing because it was probably written in a way that allowed for the challenge. So maybe we should keep better records of this. Maybe we should know the legislators who are out there who don't actually support the Constitution, who want to infringe on your rights, and who introduce legislation to do that. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.